I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and a hot one today, but at least we're getting some showers. And if you're asking me, well, Gabe, what showers? Well, then you're not included in the areas that are receiving showers. Again, very isolated chances heading into our evening, and we're going to be tracking what's left of those showers. So latest update on rain chances, that's not just for tonight. We're talking about for the entirety of the weekend, but what we're also looking at here at the Room to Room Weather Center are heat advisories continuing into our weekend. Just what is the expectation with that? And then Aaron is now a hurricane and expecting to continue to build moving further into the Atlantic. So we'll be walking through all of that here coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. So make sure to keep it here for the very latest. Let's start with the first 12. 20% chances there around 7. That's with a few of those isolated pop-up showers and storms that are starting to develop, especially further south. But we're paying attention to multiple areas across the region. We'll look at that here in just a moment. But let's carry that forecast overnight and into tomorrow morning. You see 79 by 10. Not too shabby for any Friday night plans. And then overnight and into tomorrow morning, mid-70s with, yes, those hazy conditions, that fog more than likely sticking around. So make sure to have those low beams on if you are going to be out and about for one of those early morning commutes. So we are going to continue to take a look outside at these beautiful blue skies and beautiful annoying wasp. 84 degrees, feels like 90, so not too bad of a forecast up there in Caledonia. Temperatures definitely taking a step back for a few of us, but into the rest of our night, those temperatures will start to draw back more and more comfortable conditions will be in place. I say 84 is not a bad temperature, because then we jump to Greenville. 93, it still feels like 102, and it's at 6 o'clock. Sunset's not too far away, so there is saving grace, Greenville. Just got to hold on for a couple more hours. Some of those towering clouds there in the distance, a great shot there from the North Mississippi Storm Chasers camera in Greenville. Kosciuszko showcasing that same thing with a little bit more blue. 91 feels like 102. So the hot conditions even continue into Attala County. So it's basically all across North Mississippi dealing with those hot and muggy conditions. But we talked about rain chances at the start of our 5 o'clock broadcast, and we're going to start down south. And that's where those showers were starting to develop more and more. I'm actually going to take this out one more scan because what you have right here is a boundary. This is starting to build more and more on. And so you can see that extending all the way from the southern part of Macon all the way down there towards Philadelphia, basically following, I believe, let me check and see what highway that is. Let me take a look right here. Highway 21. So Highway 21 all the way from Leake County, all the way to Noxubee County. And you can see some of those showers. I'm going to take it out a few more just to kind of get a good visual on this. As we cycle it through the last hour or so, you can see how this is really built from 5 o'clock. This is what I mean whenever there's a boundary. If there's a boundary right over the top of these storms, and these really start to build more and more. We talked about boundaries yesterday. It was almost like a mini cold front. So that mini cold front, we know what regular cold fronts do. They act as a forcing mechanism to provide some of that lift. Well, that's what's happening here. So it's providing some of that lift, allowing these storms to get a little bit more in strength. And so one of the things we're paying attention to, I'm actually going to take a step off screen here real quick and go look at our analysis mode because I do want to see how many strikes we have on these storms. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to get back in here and pull it up real quick. So I'm going to zoom in and you can see as we talk about strikes, we're talking about 389 strikes over the last 30 minutes. This is definitely on the increase from what it was earlier. And even taking a 3D cross section of this, I'm going to take that basically. We'll do the heart of this storm right here on the south side of Macon. So I'm going to grab this here and turn it around so we can kind of get that 3D visual. And then I'll take that, let me get the cross section. There we go. So you can see that we're getting up to about 20 to 25,000 feet on the heart of those storms. The difference with these is we're not getting as much of a hail core. And so that's a good thing. We're not expecting anything hail-wise out of this, but we are getting some of that dense, heavy rainfall. I can even take another cross section on some of these other storms. Let me get that right there. And you can see, I know it's hard to see a little bit, but some of those purples starting to show up. So that hail core are going to primarily be on the back side of these storms, right along Highway 21 and Highway 14. I'm going to do one more cross section so that way you guys get a better visual, and you can see this purple showing up just a bit more. So going to pay attention to that in more detail, but let's take it back to that home and we'll take it back to our radar mode. So we're going to look out of Columbus once again and track these out. But as you can see, as we talked about, it's building along a boundary. So that boundary is going to keep these storms pretty stagnant and pretty stationary. So not going to be moving too much. If we put that in play one more time, we'll see how it progresses over the last hour. Looks like it's extending further southeast. So Sugarlock going to be getting some of that action here shortly. Putting a track on that heaviest portion on that leading edge. We're going to put it at about, I think 10 to 15 miles an hour is not out of the question. Wahala by about 6:31, Millington 7:01. You can see Sugarlock basically right around that same time frame, very soon moving through your area. I'm going to do one more track that encompasses Sugarlock here real quick as that moves through the heart of the city at about 12:13. So Sugarlock there, 6:08. It's 6:05 right now, so it's very soon going to be impacting you guys. And then further south there towards Leake County, Philadelphia, getting some of that action as well with those heaviest portions. We'll do a storm track on that, as I know we do have some viewers down there. And as we look at the latest runs, it's kind of building further southwest. So I'm actually going to do a path right here, and it's not going to be overly fast because it's not the movement of that storm. What it's doing is it's back building. So this is where the latest development will move in place. Deemer by about 6:14 as it continues to move about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's a different kind of storm track that we have to do than what it typically is. But that's our heaviest portion. Some of those storms happening over and around the Alcorn and Tishomingo County line, those are heavy at times, but moving southeast, this will be an easier storm track than what we were doing further down south. So as it continues to move southeast at about 10 miles an hour. I feel like 10 is a good assessment. Pinedale 6:57 and Iuka closer to 7:01. Probably getting some more of those electric skies once again. So I know we have fantastic photographers up there. If you can do so in a safe manner, hey, submit those photos here to Mississippi Live Weather, and we appreciate those very much, getting us eyes in the sky. But that's the extent of the rainfall we're seeing. Again, very isolated, but very impactful where those isolated showers are popping up. I got to take it back to the other mode here real quick, so bear with me behind the scenes. But that's what we've seen, is just those isolated showers. And whenever we look at that satellite imagery too, we can really see those pop-up thunderstorms. Or something that's really cool on these thunderstorms is you can kind of see how it bubbles up. So I'm going to zoom in right here on those storms once again and get a good look and cycle this over the last hour. You can see how those start to bubble up a bit more on some of those sources, and so that's why we get more of that cloud cover. It almost looks like whenever you turn or have a pot on the stove and you turn it on, it starts, getting that heating, and this clouds start to pop up more and more. The steam, should I say? Well, that's what's happening here. You're getting that steam, and it's going to become a little bit more visible. Jump back to that home view. You can see that it's even happening up there towards Tishomingo County and really out here towards Alabama. That's where we're getting a lot of that bubbling up taking place. So that shows a little bit more of those higher storm tops and more significant storms as a result. So lots of action all across the southeast right now. Taking it back out for a few more scans just to get a good visual on this on our surface analysis. We talked about that interaction from the high pressure circulating in a lot of that moisture, and then also this frontal boundary that's acting as a lifting mechanism. Those two things together are allowing those storm chances to continue to stick around for our Friday evening, but rain chance is not overly high. We're still very isolated for our evening, and that front will continue to push further southeast, and then behind that front, drier air moves in as a result. Something to look forward to after an active last 48 hours, so definitely going to be grateful for that, as it should make our temperatures warmer, but at least a little bit more bearable. I know that's hard to believe, but whenever you have those drier feeling air, it's not exactly desert air, but it's closer to it than what we usually are here in North Mississippi. So definitely we'll take it. And over the next 24, you do see that fog coverage towards tomorrow morning shows that there's very little wind, so that steaminess that's happening right now, it's going to be taking place tomorrow morning as that moisture lingers. But then into the afternoon, that daytime heating, that sunshine will burn up that steam and that fog. And then towards the afternoon, more isolated chances on the horizon. So we're watching those rain chances in more detail. And of course, we'll walk you through that extended forecast for your weekend coming up here in the next 60, just what to expect heat-wise and what to expect rain chance-wise. And of course, Aaron becoming way more active. We'll walk through that here coming up in the next 60.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lobhon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We're going to start with some great looks outside. A big thank you to the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for providing these looks. I mean, you can see some of those towering clouds over there towards Greenwood. I know we're not seeing stormy conditions, but definitely could see a few of those trying to produce a little bit of precipitation. Not overly high on those rain chances, though. Just really provide some good shade from that sunshine, because otherwise it's 97 degrees, still feeling like 106. So that heat advisory that was in place today, yeah, there's a reason why. With feels like values right around that same range. Tupelo. I mean, golly, that is beautiful with all those blue skies. 91 degrees feels like 99, so not at triple digits anymore, fortunately. Temperatures starting on the downswing, but those skies, phenomenal. Hopefully you guys get out and about and take advantage of that beautiful forecast going forward. Looking outside in Winona, same thing with those baby blue skies, 92 feeling like 99. So again, it's not a bad forecast across the region, just going to be a hot forecast. That's the unfortunate thing about it. So if you go to the park or go anywhere tonight, have that water bottle handy. It'll be essential to stay hydrated through the next 48 to 72 hours. Here you see on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, I did not update this to where it wasn't minute by minute analysis, but you do see what's left, those isolated showers around the Tennessee state line, more of that action happening down there towards Noxubee County, and some of that happening back there towards Hollandale and Chula, right in between that threshold, and more showers happening. We got a little bit of a visual on those there towards Eudora. That's going to be some of those towering tops that could produce some of those isolated showers. So very isolated. And if I did not mention your town, well, it's because you're dry and you're seeing blue skies. But temperature-wise, it's going to be hot. Oh, I just blue skies and temperature-wise, hey, look at us. We're poets here at Mississippi Live Weather. But low 90s across the region with upper 90s still out there in the Delta, 96 Clarksdale, Tunica, 97 still around South Haven. So it's hot, muggy too, with feels like values well above that 105 threshold out there in the Delta. Even over here in Amory, 104, 102 Tupelo, 100 Starkville and Columbus. So hot and muggy no matter where you go, but some places are better than others. Expanding this out, we can still see that those feels like values are basically the same all the way through Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. If we look out here towards Alabama, a little bit cooler, but it's a lot of that is due to that rain-cooled air. We had that yesterday, not the case today, and you see what damage those temperatures can do once you get that drier weather paired with it. Now here's your current alerts. Those heat advisories are in place for tonight. Expect those to continue into your Saturday as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday included in that as well. So something we're not looking forward to, but something we can prepare for is that we can stay hydrated and stay cool. So if you're in that orange, make sure to take frequent breaks. But even if you're not, I mean, that far northeast corner of the state, it's still hot, it's still muggy as we just saw, so make sure to stay as safe as you can. Futurecast right here, I'm going to zoom it in a little bit just to get a better visual on these storms. Where you're seeing those develop is basically along this frontal boundary, primarily towards Alabama, might I add. But a few of those rain chances do get into North Mississippi overnight, but you might notice rain chances a little bit more extreme than what radar is actually producing. So that's why with these models, we're taking a step back on our analysis and how much moisture, because it's clearly not doing a good job with how much moisture is in the air. It's way over convective on this. So we're going to take a step back, and that's how we're going to assess rain chances here over the next 24 hours. 10 p.m. still having a few of those showers linger, but I'm not overly high on those rain chances. I have us staying dry for the most part for any of our Friday night plans and moving into, if you're out till 2 a.m., still towards your Saturday morning. So it's going to be a dry forecast for any of those late night plans, and even a dry forecast towards tomorrow morning. Some fog will develop where those showers have taken place today. Once you get that moisture that lingers on the ground and little wind to dry it up, well, then that moisture lingers to tomorrow morning, and then we get some fog as a result. Low temperatures, low to mid 70s, so right around average for this time of year, but heading through the rest of our day, those temperatures warm up, so appreciate the cooler temperatures for the start of your day. You can see 7:30 to 9 o'clock, a few of those patchy clouds trying to move in, but overall it's going to be those blue skies once again reigning supreme across North Mississippi. That continues into our lunch hour as well, so take those plans outside and head to the park and just enjoy the beautiful weather while we have it. Again, we know how wet it can get. The past 48 hours have been an exact example of that, so whenever it's this dry, we need to enjoy it. But into the afternoon, temperatures start to climb, but so do those rain chances. ever so slightly. Because yes, we're over convective on this model for sure. But could a few pop-up showers take place? Yes, our coverage is about 10 to maybe 20% on that max coverage. But we're not overly high on those rain chances, especially not like what we're seeing on our model run right there. High temperatures though, 95 Houston, 95 Starkville, Columbus, 96 towards Grenada, and 98 Greenwood and Greenville. So it's going to be a hot one for sure on our Saturday, and feels like values into that heat advisory threshold once again. So that's why we say they're still going to be in place for our Saturday and into our Sunday as well. We'll see Sunday here in just a moment. But let's keep Futurecast going into the rest of our evening. And you see by 8 p.m. a lot of those rain chances dissolve on out, so that 10 to 20% coverage becomes zero as that sun starts to set. So dry conditions overnight towards 10 p.m. and even overnight into the start of our Sunday. It's going to be a perfect start to our Sunday, heading out the door for any church plans or any other activities as we head about our Sunday morning. Great conditions all the way around. Towards the afternoon, we do have a few isolated showers that try to pop up, but this model is a very over convective on our rain chances typically. Today, or for our model run today, for Sunday, if that makes sense, it's not doing that over convective atmosphere like what we've been seeing. So the good thing with that is it means that it's taking a step back even from what we're seeing here. So yes, there's the chance that a brief isolated shower. I'm not overly sold on those rain chances. I have us staying on the drier side throughout our Sunday afternoon. That's a good thing for any plans that we have outdoors. If you want to plan something outdoors, Sunday is your day, because we're going to emphasize the first part of that word, sun. Because it'll be that dry. So overnight, those dry conditions persist. That sunny sky will stick around until that sun does set, and then we head into the start of the work week. So at least we're getting a good weekend up in the sky. But temperature-wise, it's a little bit of a different story with that heat continuing to build. Some areas are going to be talking about 99 to triple digits. Clarksdale, Greenville, 98 Cleveland, Belzona, Greenwood, 98 South Haven, and 96 to 97 here towards Tupelo, Amory, and the Golden Triangle. So a toasty one. But that mugginess continues to linger with triple digits all across the region. The Mississippi Delta still sticking around that 105 plus threshold. So we are expecting those heat advisories to stick around whether we like it or not. It's just how we prepare for it. And of course, we need to stay hydrated. Here's a look at that trend. We do continue to warm up with 98 Monday and 99 by Tuesday. 98 still by Wednesday, but we are on the downtrend by that point, dropping into the low 90s as the latter part of the week kicks in. So something to look forward to heading into our Friday forecast, because some cooler air will be in place. But whenever we talk about the dry air behind a front, we're not talking about, hey, it's going to be completely like desert heat and you're not going to feel the stickiness walking out the door. But it will be a step back, because dew points today were around 73. Well, then we dropped 72 Saturday. And that's really where the effects of the front will start to be felt, because Sunday and Monday, dew points coming in around 69 degrees. That is not a bad forecast whatsoever, because it'll be that drier air. So temperature-wise, we're even warmer. But when the dew point pulls back and there's that gap, that more enlarged gap, well, then it starts to feel a little bit of that drier air, less sticky, less of like you're walking into a wall of moisture whenever you leave the house. It'll feel a little bit better. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that starts to climb back up. It's still around the low 70s. It's not a bad forecast. So we'll see that on heat indices. I know it still shows hot conditions, but look at how it's basically the same as where we are today. 105 for today, 105 Saturday. Actually lower on Sunday. So our temperatures are climbing, but our heat indices are right around the same. So it shows that moisture not playing as much of a part in the forecast, and something we can look forward to, that yes, it's going to be hotter, but at least dew points are, or at least heat indices not going to be nearly as bad, and actually slightly cooler in some parts. Now come Tuesday, moisture returns and temperatures still in the upper 90s. That's where it could be a dangerous forecast, one we're paying attention to for some possible heat warnings. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's take it one day at a time at this point. Mississippi gives us too much to talk about. But day planner on your Saturday, 75 around 7, 91 towards lunch, mid-90s tomorrow afternoon. So going to be noticeably warmer, but like I said, taking a step back on that moisture level, and it will feel slightly better outside despite it being hotter outside. Doesn't mean we don't need to prepare. Stay hydrated and stay cool, but at least enjoy that little bit of a break from the mugginess. 97 Sunday, 98 Monday, and there's that moisture returning paired with the 99. Now that's an interaction that is rare to see, is having rain chances with those temperatures being that high, when we're paying attention to in that extended forecast. But if those rain chances pick up, those temperatures will lower just a bit. We'll take it, right? But Wednesday, Thursday, our best chances of rainfall, that is 5 days away. So unfortunately, that drought monitor is probably going to be getting worse before it gets better, and that'll come out next Thursday. And of course, we're keeping eyes on that going forward. Don't go anywhere. We do have more to talk about. There's lots going on in the tropics. Aaron is officially a hurricane. What does that mean for us here in North Mississippi? We'll walk through that in detail here in the next 60.
Here is your opportunity to add 2 beautiful guns to your collection and support scouting. Scan the QR code to purchase your chance to win a Browning Citori 725 Sporting Maple over and under 12 gauge shotgun, or a 75th anniversary Boy Scout commemorative Winchester Model 9422 rifle. Support the Natchez Trace Council Scouts with your raffle entries today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
So here's a look at Aaron behind me on the latest satellite imagery from when it was officially declared a Category 1 hurricane. You can see those bands wrapping around the eye of the hurricane, so that's definitely increasing in strength as it heads further into the Atlantic. And it looks like it's on a direct track for us, but fortunately it will start to take a more northern, northeast track here very shortly, so hopefully keeping it away from the United States, and we do expect that to be the case. As we look at that cone of uncertainty that we talk about whenever it's that possible track we have with this, that 4 o'clock advisory already showing 75 mile an hour. That's about 35 miles an hour higher from where it was at even 48 hours ago. And then 993 millibars, that pressure level in the center of the storm, already starting to drop. And the lower those levels are, when it comes to pressure levels, the stronger the storm. And of course, the stronger the winds, the stronger the storm. Makes sense right there. But our next new track will come in at about 10 o'clock, but we do expect it to continue the same trend. You can see right there, continuing to build in strength with a Category 2 strength by Saturday, Category 3 early Sunday morning, and possibly Category 4 there heading into our Sunday afternoon. Our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut keeping eyes on the storm through the weekend, but it's definitely going to be a big talker because that's a major hurricane by that point. And as it moves up the Atlantic coast, it has it steering clear of the Carolinas, but some models, like we talked about a few days ago, had it trending a little bit closer. But so far, models carrying it back out to sea. So hopefully this remains a fish storm and one that we'll continue to keep eyes on going forward. Not really expecting anything for North Mississippi. As you can see, we're far away from that track, but out there in the Carolinas, definitely could be a little bit more of an interesting scenario. Not expecting it to be, but models do change, and that is still a good, 5 days out. So we're keeping eyes on it, of course. But as we look at this is one of our long track models, we can kind of get a visual on that. And some of those lighter blues that show up shows increased wind speed. So already getting about 100 to 120 miles an hour on those returns. That's the result here on our Saturday afternoon of that continuing to increase in strength. And as we see that build up into the East Coast, we can see that start to trend a little bit more north come Sunday evening, and that's when we're going to talk about it reaching possibility of Category 4. And as it continues to move up the East Coast, it has it steering clear of the Carolinas. And this is one of our long track models, the American models you can see at the top left of your screen. And that's where we expect it to continue to build, but fortunately build out there at sea. So not impacting us here in North Mississippi for sure, and probably not impacting the Atlantic coast there in the United States. That continues to move north until moving northeast, and it has it basically staying out there in the Atlantic for the entirety of its lifespan. Fortunately, because that is a beast of a storm and one that we will gladly steer clear of us here in North Mississippi and the entire United States. So day planner today, no hurricane expected. Not too bad of a forecast. 20% rain chances with very little coverage, but where that coverage happens, heavy rainfall expected as a result. We did get a report of a cold air funnel from the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. We're going to work to get that in tonight at 10 there from Belzona. So as of right now, we have not heard of any damage, and we don't expect there to be any damage. Just some heavy rainfall, lots of lightning that could produce some minor power outages. We'll look at that in full detail coming up tonight at 10, so make sure to keep it here at Mississippi Live Weather for the very latest on your forecast. We thank you again for joining us. If you want to download our app, you can see right there, iOS, and on my left, Android. Download that on your device today. Scan that QR code, screenshot it. Here, I'll smile for the picture. And send that to your loved ones so that way they can download it on their device today. We thank you guys again for joining us. Tune in tonight at 10 for the very latest on our live broadcast schedule. And then, of course, heading into the weekend, our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will be live at 6 and 10 on your Saturday, and same thing on Sunday. Probably tracking Aaron a bit more. Tropics are going to be a big talker this weekend. But, of course, we'll be walking through every step of that weekend forecast here in North Mississippi coming up tonight at 10.
see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.